Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Tribune Sports Live. It's Paws versus Claws week. The Hewitt Huskies traveled right down the road to take on the undefeated Clay Chalkville Cougars. He's Alan Taylor. I'm Zach Steele. Alan, one of the biggest rivalries in high school football, Hewitt-Trussville versus Clay Chalkville.
It really is. It's going to be a great game. Of course, now with the reclassifications, for many years they were in the same region. That's not the case. Both teams are going to the playoffs, but it still don't take away from this rivalry.
And this game, up to a couple of years ago, it was the first game of the season. So you came into this game, you played your rivalry game, then you kind of went on into your season. Now it's at the end of the season. Really, it almost seems like it's more important than ever.
Well, and it's more fun being at the end of the season.
I agree.
Never liked it when it was at the first of the season. That was done for scheduling reasons, so you didn't play that rivalry game right before the playoffs. But now that they're out in totally different divisions, it's great having it at the end of the season, and everybody's cranked up and ready to go.
So the Hewitt Huskies are coming into this game 6-3 without their star quarterback, who was injured against Hoover last week, Zach Thomas. We all know about that injury now. Coming into this game, what's Hewitt's mindset, do you think?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I know they're down. You could see that last week. Zach's been their leader, not only statistically but verbally, and he's just a leader on that team, and so that's a big loss for them. But this is not a one-man team. I think you're going to see some folks step up. Jerry and Street, McElwain. You're going to see some folks step up. And, Davis Bergen came into the game last week. He's a sophomore, but he played well. And so I think Coach Floyd's going to have these guys ready.
Yeah, the coaches are high on Davis. They've talked about him and looking at him as a freshman last year. They were looking at him saying, this kid may be the future. So future is now for Davis Bergen, and you're right. There's going to have to be some other players step up. You're going to need to see Noah Igbenogany step up and make some plays. Elliot McElwain, as you said, is going to have to step in and make some plays. Grayson Cash is probably going to play a little bit bigger part of the offense now. So on the other side of this, Clay Chalkville, a bit of a tough game last week, at least for 3 quarters against Gardendale. They haven't really been tested all year except for that game against Hillcrest of Tuscaloosa. Your thoughts on them, and have they haven't stepped up to play a 7A opponent yet. What's the difference between that and some of the teams they've played so far this year?
Well, I think 6A and 7A, there's not a lot of difference, but there is some. Clay Chalkville really has not been tested except that one game. Gardendale gave them a little bit of a test for a little while, but this Clay Chalkville team's powerful. On offense, they've got blue chippers, and they've got playmakers, and I think you're going to see them approach this game just like they have every other game. I think you're going to see them try to do the things that they do. They run the ball well. They throw the ball well. They have a big play offense. I think that's what Coach Hood likes to see. He'll run it, then he'll hit you with a big play. And so I think they're going to see some speed on defense that maybe they hadn't seen so far this year. And that could be the key, is how well that Trussville defense can hold Clay in check.
And that front seven is going to be important for Hewitt. If you can maybe get them into some third down situations, out of their comfort zone a little bit, maybe you got a chance to disrupt things a little bit and make Ty Pigram uncomfortable. Nobody's been able to do that in 2 years, so we'll see if the Huskies can get that done.
Well, and also create some turnovers. I think you'll hear Hewitt-Trussville's coaches this week talk about turnovers. They need to make some things happen on defense. They need to get in there. They're going to be aggressive. I think you'll see them blitz. I think you'll see them do some things maybe they hadn't done all year, but they need to create some turnovers. And then, on offense, they need to move the ball. If Clay Chalkville has a weakness, and they don't have much of one, it's been on defense. And so if Hewitt-Trussville can get in there and expose the Clay Chalkville defense in some of the areas, it could be a close game.
Let me ask you another philosophical question here. Husky fast. Do the Huskies slow down Husky fast and control the tempo of the game and keep the ball away from that Clay offense? Is that a possibility, or do you just try to get in a scoring match with them?
Well, I think if you talk to Coach Floyd, he's going to want to score. And so I don't look for them to change their philosophy. It's been Husky fast at times, but there's been times this season when he has slowed down and tried to control the game a little bit. And I think he'll kind of get into the flow of the game, see how it's going, and you may see him in certain situations, pick up the tempo and try to get Clay Chalfant back on their heels. I think at other times you may see him try to run some clock. Especially if they could get a lead early, you might see him try to run some clock.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be an exciting ball game no matter what happens. If you're going, get there early because seats will be at a premium for this one. It's going to be a packed house there. When we come back, we're going to have some of the coaches from Clay Chalkville and Hewitt-Trussville and a few of the players. We'll be back in just a moment.
At Bryant Bank, we focus on you. You'll never have to worry about being just another number in the system. When you're a member of the Bryant Bank family, our Bryant Bankers will work to understand who you are, where you want to go, and how we can help you to get there. We're big believers in developing relationships with our customers, and we value friendships we make along the way. Bryant Bank provides unbeatable service and legendary results. Bryant Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Trussville Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trussville Vision Care.
Zach Steele here with Coach Stuart Floyd, the offensive coordinator of the Clay Chalkville Cougars, and a guy who needs no introduction to my right, Ty Pigram, the quarterback of the Clay Chalkville Cougars. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, does it seem like you have an easy job sometime coaching all these guys with Ty and the receivers? And tell me what that's like to coach these kids.
From the outside looking in, it may look easy.
Sure.
But they definitely are a fun group that likes to have fun a lot. So I think they test my patience.
Sure.
Of being focused and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, when the lights come on, I know they're going to be ready to play. So,
all business.
Yeah.
Very good. We see a lot of formations from you guys. Is that something that you guys spend extra time? Does it take extra time in practice or extra time during the season to put in all these things? Because it looks like you guys will come out in a lot of sets sometimes.
We do. I think the main thing that we do, we just by watching film, I basically look at formations from other teams and how defenses line up to those formations and just see what we can do to exploit how they line up to particular formations. But, I think with our verbiage that we have, there's no limitation on what we can line up in. So that's really what we try to do. Just try to, have one more man out there than they do.
Very good. Ty, you're 24-0 as a starter. Do you ever think about that? When we saw you come in, you're starting your first game on national television on ESPN against Niceville, Florida. Looking back, you think this is a pretty amazing ride, I guess?
Yes, sir. I'll say like last year, I ain't feel as comfortable as I did this year with the bunch of group I got right now. So right now I'm just trying to keep doing what I'm doing, make sure everybody stay focused and just keep winning.
And you got some good receivers to throw the ball to as well.
Yes, sir.
Coach, I'm sure you've watched film on Hewitt this week. Obviously, the big rivalry game. Tell me what you think about, as you've watched the Hewitt's defense and what stands out to you.
Well, for us as coaches, I think that probably Hewitt's defense is probably the most improved defense of any defense we've seen from last year to this year. They've got some players that are probably the most improved players that we've seen. So I think for us, as far as the front seven goes, it's probably, the top two front sevens that we've faced. That being Blackman or Gardendale, I think would have, they would be comparable as far as front sevens go.
And what challenges would you say they pose to you, as an offense?
Well, I mean, they just, they don't do anything special. I mean, they just kind of line up and they play really great technique, and D linemen are pretty quick and use their hands real well, and they really just get you in third and long. And force you to make mistakes. There's just not a lot there.
All right, Ty, I'm going to ask you one more question here. You're a senior, never lost to Hewitt-Trussville. How important is this game to you guys?
It's important because, I have lost in the ninth grade.
In the ninth grade?
Yes, sir. So,
Okay.
it's just another game to get back at them.
You're still looking to exact revenge on the ninth grade game.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
We talked about that this week. I reminded them that I sat there and watched that game from the field house, and they lost, and they all cried on the field like a bunch of babies. And so I reminded them, that was the last time they lost to them was that game. So
They messed about
the last
undefeated
one.
season.
He always was reminding you of that one, huh?
Yes,
Very
sir.
good. Well, guys, we appreciate you coming out tonight and visiting with us, and good luck Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Gunner Roy would like to invite you to visit one of their 3 stores on Deerfoot Parkway. Both Shell locations on Deerfoot offer delicious Hunt Brothers pizza, one at Highway 11 and the other at Old Springville Road, which was a BP and now has a fabulous new look customers need to see to believe. The Chevron at Happy Hollow Road features mouth-watering pop donuts that are delivered fresh each and every morning. A proud supporter of the community for more than 20 years, offering quality products at a fair price in a clean environment with friendly and efficient service, Gunner Oil.
Tribune Sports Live is sponsored in part by State Senator Slade Blackwell of District 15. Senator Blackwell represents parts of Talladega, Shelby, and Jefferson counties, including the Trussville area. A former high school and college athlete, Senator Blackwell is pleased to promote our local schools and student athletes. As football season gets underway, it's time to say, Go Huskies, Go Cougars, and Go Indians. Here's to a successful and safe year for all who are involved with high school athletics in our area.
And welcome back. We're here with Hewitt-Trussville High School head football coach Josh Floyd. Also have with us senior linebacker and Stanford commit Bailey McElwain. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the season. 6-3 so far in the season, 5-2 in the area, tied for second, playoffs still a little up in the air. Talk a little bit about the season, what got us to this point.
Sure. I'm really pleased with where we're at. I'm really proud of these guys. Starts with our senior class. These are guys that have really bought into what we're doing. And, came in last year, came in kind of late. It was kind of a tough situation. And so it's been exciting to see how our team has grown over the past year. And, it goes all the way back to really January, February when you're in off season in the summer. And so we'd rather be 9-0. I mean, we'd rather have won the region. That was one of our goals, and we didn't quite get that done. But I tell you what, we played in a tough region, and I think going back, even the first game of the year, we were we didn't win that game, but I think it was one of those games that made us better because we were playing a team that was nationally ranked and a really good football team, and so, we could have scheduled a easier opponent, but we were trying to get ready for our region, and it's been battle every single week. There's been a few games we kind of pulled away from, but I've been really proud of where we're at right now, and I think there's still things for us to get better. I think we've been trying to play 4 quarters of football. It's kind of what we've been talking about with our kids for a few weeks. Is we've played 2 quarters of good football. We've played 3, maybe 3.5 even, but we're trying to get to where we play 4 good quarters of football.
Well, and we talked in preseason about the Trussville schedule, 3 state champions on this schedule, and we started with game 1, a game really we had a chance to win, and then the other loss to Spain Park, who ends up winning the region. That's a game with just a break or 2, we could have won that game.
Yeah, definitely. Both those games, we had a couple of special teams plays that really hurt us in both those games. Obviously, we'd like to have those back. The game of Spain Park, I don't think, at the beginning of the season, nobody knew how that was going to turn out, and everybody, as far as how they were going to end up doing, they end up beating everyone and winning the region, and they're obviously they've already locked down the 1 seed for the playoffs next week, and so they end up having a great year. It's obviously one we'd love to have back. There are a few plays here or there that they could have gone either way, but again, we're fired up to be in the playoffs and to tie for second in a region that's I think is probably the best one in Alabama, and great programs, great coaching, and I think it prepares us for the playoffs. And once we start next week, everybody's 0-0. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the seed is. It's going to come down to who wins that game.
Right. Well, and this week it's Clay Chalkville, who really has been a powerhouse not only this year but last year. But looking at y'all's schedule, this is not the first big game you've played this year. You've played some teams that'll prepare you for what Clay Chalfle's going to bring.
Yeah, we think so for sure. I mean, there's a lot of good teams on our schedule. We've obviously we've played them all. We've played some athletes, and we've played some guys that were bigger, stronger. You play a team like Oak Mountain, who's they a completely different system. I feel like we've been all over the place, trying to defend some of these people we've been trying to defend. But obviously played a really good football team last week, and it's not going to be anything shocking, obviously, to go against a great football team. Now Clay's a different type of animal, and they've got just tons and tons of athletes, and are on a roll right now. So they're a really good football team.
Well, and where they've really been powerful is on offense, and we have with us too Bailey McElwain, who's kind of emerged as one of the leaders on this defense. And so Bailey, just to ask you, I mean, how do you prepare for a big game like Clay Chalkville? Anything different than you've done in the rest of the games of the season?
Definitely. Well, we've really been preaching it's all about us lately. These last couple of weeks we've been preaching, coaches, leaders on the team, been preaching it's all about us, focus on us throughout the week, and just really get great at what we do. Focus on the other team, their athletes, what they do, but really buy into what we do.
And on defense, slowing them down. They run the ball well. They're explosive. They can score quickly. What do you do to kind of slow this offense down?
We just got to play our game, minimize mistakes, and really just play aggressive. Just do what we do.
Let's talk a little bit about the future for you. I know you got a couple of games, or hopefully more than a couple of games left to play, but then you've committed to Stanford. Kind of tell us how you went through that process to pick Stanford.
Well, it was my first offer back in the summer. I stayed in contact with them for a couple of months before I went up there on a visit, and they offered me on my visit, and I committed on the spot.
That's awesome. Well, we'll all be Cardinal fans starting next year, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Coach, we talked about their Clay Chalkville's defense, but their offense, we talked about their offense. Their defense is also, it's struggled a little bit at times, but it's still a good defense.
It is. They've got some really good players on the defensive side of the ball. Speed, that's what you see. These guys are probably, they may be the fastest team we've played all year on both sides of the ball, and just have athletes all over the place. Even if they mess up, they have a lot of makeup speed, in the secondary, and so they struggled maybe a couple games early on, but I know they've really put it together these last few weeks. They played. Gardendale played with them for a half last week, but really Gardendale didn't score much in the second half, and so it's gonna be tough to score on them. They're just so explosive on offense, like you said. I mean, it's one of those teams that really any player they can score a touchdown on just because of the type of athletes that they have.
Well, not only at home but also away, the Husky fans has been there in support this year. Great crowd last week at Hoover. Of course, at home we've packed it out. How big a difference will the crowd be?
It'll be huge. I think hopefully we'll have a packed house again. Our fans have been awesome the entire year, and it's been. I'm amazed every time we go on the road. I mean, because a lot of times we'll have just as much as the home side, and so hopefully we'll have a lot of people there. I know it's obviously a big time game. I think it'll be a big time environment. Playoff type environment, and obviously, like I said, we've played a lot of good teams, so it's not going to be the first big game we've played all year. But it should be fun. Our guys will be ready. We've been through some challenges the last few weeks, but we'll be ready to play at 7 o'clock.
Well, Coach, good luck to you, Bailey. Good luck. It's a big game this week. If you're going to come, get there early because it's going to be a big crowd, and just come out and support both teams, the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies and Clay Chalkville Cougars. We'll be back right after this. Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trussville's funeral home and cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
Whether you're looking to buy your first home or you're trying to sell the one you're in now and need advice from a realtor, turn to Lee Marlowe, Realty South Realtor. Contact Lee today at 205-913-9559 or visit Lee at leemarlowehomes.com.
Paul Davis Emergency Services of Northeast Birmingham helps by providing needed cleanup and restoration services. Through the appropriate tools and processes, we avoid wasting valuable time to get your property to its previous state as quickly as we possibly can. Through our experience with restoration services in Birmingham, we can determine the necessary services depending on your property and type of damage, which may include smoke and fire damage restoration, water damage restoration, wind damage restoration, and mold removal. Paul Davis, Recover, Reconstruct, Restore. 205-687-0556.
Welcome back. It's prediction time, and Alan, when we look at this looks like a tall test for the Huskies coming in without their quarterback, who's been their leader, as you said, not just statistical leader, but emotional leader over the last 2 years. They come into this game without him. Your thoughts on how they get over the hump here at Clay Chalkville, and give me a score.
Well, again, it's a tough thing to overcome. I mean, Zach Thomas means and meant so much to this football team. Offensively, he rushed the ball well. He threw the ball well. He punted. He meant a lot. But this is a good team, and I think you're going to see this coaching staff work this week. I think you'll see them run the ball. You may see a different wrinkle or two out of them. We don't know. But I think this game is going to be closer than most people think. I think at the end, Clay Chalkville should win the game, but I think it'll be close. I'm picking Clay Chalkville 42-38.
Well, I like Clay to win in this ball game too, and I think I'm with you. I think it's going to be close for a while, and I think it's probably going to be close for 3 quarters. But Clay is going to do what they always do, and they're going to have that run, almost like in a basketball game, where they hit that 10 or 12 point run, and they're just going to run away with it a lot like they did against Gardendale last week. I think this game may even be tied in the 3rd quarter, but I like Clay to win this game 48-28. That's our show. Good luck to both teams. We wish you could both win, but we know that's not the case. Hope everybody enjoys the ball game. Let's all be safe out there and just have good sportsmanship. I know it's a big rivalry. These two teams, a lot of times it seems like we don't like each other, but we do. We all get along. We all work here in the same area. So, good luck to both teams, and we'll see you Friday night.